Hello, everyone. Jose J. Garcia with Garcia Mohome University. Very special guest here today with me. She is out of San Francisco, California. I got a story about California here in a minute, but she is a confidence strategist and an entrepreneur artist. Carmen Milagro, how are you?
I'm good, Jay. Thank you for having me today. It's such an honor and a pleasure.
I absolutely know it's our pleasure. And one of my questions later on was going to be, do you speak Spanish? But with the last name of Milagro, you know what Milagro means? I know you know what Milagro means in English.
Yeah. But for those that don't know, it means miracle.
There you go. Beautiful, beautiful name. So we first
Exactly.
connected through the beautiful world of social media, which now, through the epidemic, I think so many people have been able to connect more and more. I know I have. Before that, it was just basically who you met out in person somewhere. So there's been positives too, and part of that is meeting you. But for those that don't know you, tell us about you.
Well, just a little bit. I am an entrepreneur-artist, as you mentioned, and I love business just as much as I love the art of music and other forms of art. And I have always seen the correlation between that. And so, a program that I developed is based on that premise. My my tagline, if you would, is music is my passion. That's what I do for myself. It brings me joy. I want to share it. Not everyone loves it, as you know. With artists, you got to get used to that. But the thing for me is that what's my purpose? And my purpose, really, when I drilled it down to 5 seconds or less, it's to help others. And then I drill down on that. And what I really love to do, which is both the passion and the purpose, is to work with young people, to work with up and coming, emerging artists, up and coming entrepreneurs, because I feel that there's a bit of a lag between, you and I were talking earlier, just briefly, there's a bit of a lag where someone wants to be an entrepreneur and they just don't know how to get started, or they're missing some motivation, and they jump into these courses and they find all these coaches, but they don't really know who they are, and they don't really know why they're doing it. So how do you stay on track when you don't know who you are or why you're doing something? So that's what I focus on, and mostly it's coaching young people, which I do through various programs throughout the Bay Area. And for me, that's part of my purpose, helping others.
No, that's beautifully said. Absolutely. I think, and the more I hear it with some very successful people I've had a pleasure to speak with and be coach mentor by, I think at the end of the day, somewhere in there, it's like you have to get to that. You can only have so many things for you. You can buy so many cars, material, and at one point it's just blah. And in life, almost like they say, it turns into almost uh, no meaning.
Right.
So, as Frank we were talking, who's currently my
Right.
mentor, he's all about giving back, and he said, "Hey, has put a whole new drive into him." So that's great. I think at the end of the day, we need to focus on how can we give back and help others. You can only help
And
yourself so much.
Right, and that to me, that's something that I do feel like that I have that in common with Frank McKinney. And if he's watching, hi Frank. But he's
We're
such
showing
an
the video.
inspiration, right? He's such an inspiration, and I do aspire to do what he's doing on that level. I have been doing it on a more, smaller scale, local level, but for me, that is the motivation. And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit further and get deeper into that. But if you don't have that passion, that drive, and that motivation, then maybe you're just collecting things to fill a void. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
surmising there.
no, I
And that
agree.
would be a very expensive void to fill for some people.
Absolutely. So, Carmen, how did you get started? What was that? I'll ask. What was that moment that you realized a 9 to 5 is not going to work for you?
Oh, that was very clear. Like most people, right? It took me a little while to figure out what was I going to do and why was I doing it. I had two careers prior to really just taking the leap of faith. And one was in the hospitality, just I love it. I still do it partially. And the other was project management. So it was both the right brain, left brain, two types of different careers, different points in my life. But I got to the point where, during the dot com, and you're much younger than I am, so you
2000.
may not remember. But here in California, the dot com, the first, you know, boom, and then the bust subsequently. During that time, I realized when I was working, 80, 90 hours a week.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong, I loved my job. I love my team. We took, just to give you a little background in project management, it was office furniture sales. And we had an account. We went after the biggest one at the time was Sun Microsystems. We were just a team of 5 people. And at the time when we started, we were selling $4 million worth of office furniture. Not bad, but certainly not great. But during that boom, we went after it, we got it, and we went from $4 million in sales. In a year and a half we went to 33.5 million dollars in sales. We were working like crazy, not just myself, the team, but it was 80, 90 hours a week. And although I loved what I was doing, I woke up one day and I thought, why am I doing this for someone else?
Hmm.
My skill set, my soul wasn't being fulfilled, even though I was very proud of my work. I was very good at it. I did love it. It was exciting, all of that. But getting back to my purpose, yes, we were helping a corporation, outfit their offices. We were cutting edge furniture. We were helping people. We were providing a service.
Hmm.
But for me, as an artist first and foremost, my soul was dying. And I had to figure out a way, how do I do this, turn this around? And I made a plan. I am very impulsive on some things in life, but then there are other things that I'm not impulsive at all. I paid off all my bill. I knew I was going to get out. So I constructed the my own exit plan. Basically, I
Hmm.
had saved enough money, how they say save at least 2 years worth of your salary just in case. Well, I did all that, paid off I had zero debt because I decided to pursue, go back into music. But I don't believe in being a starving artist. I don't like those words. I don't believe it. I don't think you have to live that way to create art or music. And so I had the plan, and I actually learned that I'm much better at living on a budget than I ever thought I could be. I used to do it for my clients. I would never go over budget when we had meetings and we had projects, right? I could do it for them, but I never really did it for myself. And so that process of I want this so badly
Hmm.
that I took that 2 year, cushion and was able to extend it to 3 years while I built my brand, my reputation, while I created my art, while I put my band together, while I did all my bookings, and then I went into music. So long story, but that's how it happened.
I like it. No, that is great stuff, and that is always a shock. I came from corporate America, and it was always that you're not appreciated for one for everything that you do, but it's like so many people hate what they do and they continue to do it each and every day. But it's those little rewards at the end that it's almost a joke, and I'll just call it out because we would have people who had been with the company for 30, 40 years, and at their retirement they got a cake, and to me it was just like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Like, you said a couple things that I notated on there is you knew how and you knew why. That is huge. How important is your why for anybody trying to get out there?
I think, and it's one of the things that I developed in my workshops. I think it's one of the number one things to know why are you doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
So in the corporate world, in those worlds, I was doing it for several reasons. I was being coached and mentored by phenomenal, GMs and my bosses. I was very lucky, but I was doing it also because I wanted to learn. And I wanted to help people. Customer service is my background. It's just innate in me. But the why later morphed for me because the why became so much more important to me, to give back. I wish I had had those types of intense workshops, and I didn't know about mentors and coaches back then. I knew about therapists, but I didn't know about, like, back in that time frame. Again, I'm a little bit older than you. There wasn't this whole industry of coaches.
Mhm.
So if you weren't lucky enough to be mentored by someone that chose you in a way from the industry that you're in, you couldn't, like, go out and search the yellow pages. Oh, now I'm really dating
Wow.
myself. Or the internet, or how do you find someone to teach me these things? So um, for me, that why was everything. The more and more I thought about it, the more I journaled, the more I wrote things down. My whole thing is, if I could help someone else's journey be a little bit less of a struggle, that's what I want to do.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah. No, and it's definitely grown. I'm hearing that as well. A lot, so many more coaching mentors, which is actually one thing that I was going to ask is it seems like there's more entrepreneurs now than it's ever been. And is that why there's so many coaches available? Entrepreneur a thing?
I don't know. I think in the last, because of the pandemic, I think that probably has increased. It probably forced people. Some people have to be forced, kind of, they don't, it's their last option, I think, sometimes. And I think the pandemic did that. You could no longer survive on what you were doing, then you have to figure something out. And I think it really allowed people the opportunity to just take that leap of faith,
Mhm.
because what else were you going to do? You have to figure out
Yeah.
something. If what you were doing in the past doesn't work anymore, that's, again, that's part of the workshop and part of the mindset of an entrepreneur. You've got to figure it out. You're hitting a brick wall. Well, either you're going to go and get a huge, just bulldozer, which not everyone has access to, but you got to figure out, I'm going to go under it, I'm going to go over it, I'm going to go around it. You've got to figure it out. And I think that increase in entrepreneurship has a lot to do with what we've just experienced as a global, mass of people. But I think there was, even before that, I think there is a shift. And I don't mean to get all,
No,
space,
no.
but just, I think there is a shift with, there's so much information out there in social media, and you can be inspired, or, like Frank says, aspire to be
Yeah.
like someone else. And there's a lot of voices out there that are entrepreneurial voices, and there's a lot of coaching sessions and workshops and lives and seminars. And so I think it's like planting all these seeds, and then people just need the courage to just do it.
Mhm. Seeking you shall find. Absolutely well said. I mean, the more you look, the more, and then there's always the lucky a lot of people consider. I'll say the harder you work, the luckier you get. But it is said entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I
No.
agree, disagree with that statement. When you typically get new clients, can you tell who's going to be that next individual that's going to ask for themselves, that drive motivation, or is that something you can, maybe it's not for you kind of thing?
Usually, I found with the young people that I'm lucky enough to work with, that's my favorite, playing field. I love working with young upcoming entrepreneurs because, they don't have any bad habits.
Ah,
You know, not trying to break a bad habit. You're just enjoying the process of sharing with them and teaching. And if they're on this entrepreneurial journey, they want it. They're looking for it. They're
mhm.
seeking, they're asking for it. Um, but when I'm consulting with sometimes people who should know better, people who are older, people who are, some people just aren't coachable, and some
Yeah.
people don't want to learn, and
Yes.
some people don't want to change what they've been doing.
Hmm.
They're looking for a coach, or they're looking for, someone to help them redesign their strategies. They say they want that, but they don't really.
Mhm.
Why? Because they already know everything. They've already done it. They've seen it and it didn't work. They have all the excuses in the world. But the one thing that I think is the number one killer of that change to maybe elevate or just improve what you've been doing is the that I've been doing this way
Yeah.
forever. I've been doing this. This is how we do things. And that to me is a soul crusher.
Yes.
And I'm usually like, yeah, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work because if that is the mentality, I've been doing this, I've tried all this, I've done it, then you don't need a coach. You just wanted someone to tell you that what you've been doing is what you've been doing and it's great. If you but it can't but it's not great if you're trying to improve it, but you're not willing to do the improvements.
No,
Right? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But those people, there are some people I do believe that are truly uncoachable.
I think there's a lot.
Right.
Yes.
And they don't give it a chance, especially with marketing and branding, right? They expect, oh, well, you've been doing this for 3 months with me now and nothing's changed. Uh, Everything that you've done, you've taken years to build
Mhm.
and you expect it to be undone in a few months. That's not going to happen.
Definitely can agree with you on a lot of that, and it's that comfortable. People get comfortable, and to break them out of that, that is a challenge in itself. And then the know-it-alls. One thing about the more I think I know, the more I find out that I don't know. So
Exactly.
you have to keep an open mind. And a lot of people, and to me too, I am a coach and mentor myself, and I think a lot of people want you to tell them what they want to hear, and I let it up very upfront. I'm not here to high five you in the slightest. If that's what you're looking for, you're looking for somebody else. So absolutely, yeah, we'll be talking more after this video for sure. What are some things that you tell people who are currently in challenges or dealing with obstacles to keep them motivated? Because that's another thing is to keep going. It's a lot of times easier said than done.
Of course, absolutely. And, life has a way of throwing all kinds of challenges. We just had a universal challenge, of course,
Yeah.
but life in general is going to be filled with brick walls and
Mhm.
challenges and, uphill battles. And for me, Jay, it always goes back to if you know who you are, if you know why you're doing what you're doing, that to me is like your well. It's what I describe when I'm working with the kids, with the young kids, is there's this well inside of you, this core.
Mhm.
And if you always maintain that, if you are always filling it with knowledge, with love, with joy, with art, with new experiences, with really really deep, meaningful relationships, if you're always filling that core of yourself and you know who you are, to me, that's where you find motivation and
Mhm.
drive. That's where you draw, you can draw it from there. And what I mean by that is like, so I can tell you in 5 seconds, I'm an entrepreneur artist. Music is my passion. Helping others is my purpose. My motivation is in those 3 sentences.
Mhm.
That's it. That's where I know, okay, if I'm not feeling the passion for something, but my purpose then is going to kick up a notch. I want to help. Sometimes I put something aside because my calling and my purpose is to help someone who needs me in whatever shape or form, whether it's business, whether it's just being on the phone when someone is going through a rough time. To me, that is part of the motivation. Now, there are other motivation factors, of course. What type of lifestyle do you want to live? When is enough enough? I think everyone should live the lifestyle that they have always dreamt of.
Mhm.
So whatever that is, it's not the same for everyone. Someone for it is fulfilling for some people. They have 10 different cars and, 5 different homes. And it is fulfilling and that's wonderful. But for someone else, it may be, I want to build a school in Centro America. I want to help. So there's this funnel, there's this that 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 draw, that you're motivated by something outside of yourself.
Mhm.
And if you can figure that out, and the way to do that, in my opinion, is you've got to know who you are. Really, it's that simple. I know it doesn't sound like I've just said anything magical or anything, but it's, to me, it's that simple.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like we were talking before this, the video here is, yeah, it's you have to have a meaning, that true meaning of what is, again, your why, and it changes, I'm sure, over time, but have a
Sure.
true meaning that keeps you going, keeps you motivated. What is something bigger than you? So, and no, it is not rainbows and sunshines every day. We know that, but we wouldn't know the good days if it wasn't for the bad ones. So take them as they come and keep on going. Carmen, let's shift over slightly. So, I'm a mobile home investor, coach, and mentor. I invest in manufactured housing, mobile homes, which in San Francisco, they're not very cheap. We'll talk about that. But what is your knowledge in mobile homes? Real estate, have you ever done any
Um,
investing?
not, no, I haven't. I am definitely at that point in my life where that is something that's next, so I do want to get that knowledge base before again, there's some things I'm super impulsive on, and then there's other things where I'm like, no, I need to educate myself. I need to
Mhm,
learn. I need to find, the coach that I need.
mhm.
And so, but I work in the real estate side of property management and as a private concierge. Before the before the pandemic, I had been doing this for 13 years. That's the business that was my bread and butter business. Is I had outside investors who have properties in the Bay Area, and I manage them for them. I work with their clients, and I do everything from private finding the private chefs for that guest
Oh,
that's
wow.
coming in. So super elevated, high end clients, and
Sure.
yeah,
And
very very different, but not in real estate investing per se.
yeah, no, interesting. Well, definitely love to talk more on you on that if you ever do take interest. And mobile homes are considered affordability. That is until you get into your market where you're at. I was talking to George Ross, and some of the homes over in Malibu, California, Los Angeles, a single wide, you probably don't know what that is, but it's a smaller of the mobile homes, and you're
Right.
looking at over a mil. So it's like not so much affordable anymore. So get out of that market. But yeah, it's
It's
definitely a
all the
great
bells
investment.
and whistles, right?
Absolutely. Are there any business you wish you would have gotten into besides what you're doing and mobile homes, which I have faith you'll get into?
Well, actually, it's funny that you said that, but something that I'm working on right now is actually I'm at the beginning stage. Again, had to do the research and educate
Mhm.
myself, but I'm the startup entrepreneur in this new realm, and I'm actually you know talking to JT about it, and we'll see what happens. But I'm getting into the hemp CBD world and the skincare world, and so I
Okay.
really had to just dive in, like what we talked about. Sometimes you just got to dive in and do it.
Mhm.
Made a lot of mistakes already, and this, the precursor to where I'm at, and we'll see. It's something that again, we go back to motivation, and my
Mhm.
motivation on this particular project is, of course, to help people, but it's based on the fact that when I lost my mother to cancer, it opened up this whole new way of looking at what we not just what we are consuming into our bodies, but what we apply to our bodies. And I couldn't find anything that I felt was healthy enough and safe enough for my mom during that time
Sure.
of taking care of her.
Mhm.
And it really, I'm doing this in her honor. That's my motivation for this project. Is I would really like to be able to help people stay healthy, and really take a look at the skincare products. People use 12 to 16 products every single day that's being absorbed into our bodies,
Mhm.
and we should treat our bodies with respect and care, just like we do other things. Anyway, it's an emotional journey, as you can see, this one, but I'm very excited to be in this now.
It
But
is.
I'm the, you know,
It is. Sounds amazing. Absolutely. And I have no doubt you're going to come up with something. So that's huge. That's well said. Carmen, define the word success to you.
well, everyone has a different version. For me, success is waking up every single morning excited to start the day. And knock on wood, I have that every day.
There you go. Well said. What is one big goal for you for 2021? That's my last question. 2021.
2021, it actually has really nothing to do with business other than, well, actually, I probably will. But no, 2021 goal is to just start traveling again. I
Mm,
love exploring the world. And usually, what that brings me, besides joy, it usually brings me new experiences that I bring back into my, just into my work phase, into the entrepreneurial life that I have. And this last year has been, I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot of things that we have dealt with, right? But the non traveling part was really, really difficult for me.
Yeah.
So, besides, just getting back on track and developing this new company and all of that, but yeah, traveling, that's personally, that's what I want to accomplish in 2021, getting to that point again.
I agree. It was definitely challenging, but the more I do it, the more I like what I'm doing here now. And I love my commute. It's a few steps away. So that's nice now. But the traveling will be nice. There's a lot of upcoming things, and the world is going to become social again. So we can expect that. So, how can people connect with you?
I do the confidence strategies. We have a Facebook page. It's a group, just confidence strategies with Carmen Milagro. You're going to have to come on my show at some point,
I'll do it.
and we can talk about that. But yeah, it's every third Tuesday of the month. I have different guests. I have an
Okay.
upcoming guest. She's written a book. I have a music producer, so it's all over. It's just people from all walks of life who is, again, young people and people who are open to the
Mhm.
idea of your confidence and your motivation and your why is all a part of your core, and how do you tie all that together?
Right. No, absolutely. And I will link your social medias that you listed on here, anything you want me to add to the video. So for those of you listening, tuning in, just click on that and connect with Miss Carmen. As you can hear, she has a lot to share, a lot to offer, a lot of motivation. I'm going to go back and rewatch this video myself. So absolutely. I will share this video with you and we'll connect again. Absolutely. Let me know. I'd love to be part of your show.
Yes, please. I think that'd be so fun to do the opposite.
There you go. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on our show here.
Thank you. It was wonderful, and I really appreciate it. And it was an honor and a pleasure. And thank you again for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Till next time. Take care.
Thanks.